YouTube out of community, Argent fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we are here today to talk about Argent's debut album, Argent. This was a band that came out after the Zombies, and what's great about this record is it sounds like a mixture of the end of the Zombies and the beginning of what would become Argent, what they were more known for, with a more harder rocking, slightly proggy feel. This one's fascinating because this sounds nothing like the rest of the Argent albums, in my opinion. I really enjoy the camaraderie that you feel, the intelligence behind the playing. A lot of it still has that sort of jazzy, I don't want to use the word baroque influence that the Zombies had, but a lot of that jazzy sort of approach makes its way onto this record, and we're all the better for it. What's also really cool is that Chris White from the Zombies is a producer on this thing with Rod, and the songs that Russ Ballard sings are amazing. Obviously, Rod sings a bunch of these songs too. But then you get Jim Rodford, who would, play with the Kinks later on, and eventually back with the Zombies. It's Rod's cousin, and then Robert Hewitt on drums, and they make for a fantastic group. And before I get this review going, this is a demo copy, a promo copy. Demonstration, not for sale. Look at that stamp. The album opens up with a track Like Honey, and this song is such a great way to get into this band. It's a silky smooth track full of hooks, which is what the Zombies were always known for. They were a band known for their hooks. Rod's voice is perfect. The harmonies on this thing are excellent. It swings, it's groovy. It's a great introduction to feeling like, all right, if you were a fan of the Zombies, you'll like where Rod's going this time. Follow that up by Liar, which was a song they played live on TV a handful of times back in the day. Russ Ballard takes the lead for this one, and I really like that it's got almost an eerie, punchy feel to it in the keyboards. Well picked guitar, well played through. The jump scares when they jump into the liar, it's almost like a jump scare. It just effectively works really well for another hook in the song. That's slightly different. I mean, it reminds me of what would become like Hold Your Head Up a couple albums later. Be Free, this is a cool song. Russ again on lead vocal. Love the happy organ on this thing, the carefree rhythm that it goes for. It's just a joyous song that jams and rocks at the same time. These guys were talented. They knew what they wanted to do. Up next we have Schoolgirl, and this song in particular really sounds like the end of the Zombies. Russ is on lead vocals again with this one. It's got more of that sort of jazzy, baroque kind of feel in the organ. The really heavy reverb on the vocals is fantastic. I mean, it's all over the song too, but in particular, I like the reverb on the vocals. The hand clap beat is very much like She's Not There, kind of meets Time of the Season, which is awesome. Just a cool song. And Dance in the Smoke, the last song on side one. Cool, misty, almost smoky feel on this track. Excellent drums, tight guitar work. The keys work in sync with the guitars. The vocals are smooth, but the song just shreds. It builds up constantly. Side 2 opens up with Lonely Hard Road, another song sung by Russ. And I like the bass on this one a lot. Super tight drums and really soaring vocals from Russ. Classic organ solo, very Rod Argent solo style. Just a jammer. I love how it kind of slows down a little bit near the end. And then the track The Feeling Is Inside comes up next with Rod on vocals. And this is one of my favorite songs on the record. Great guitar, great organ intro on this thing. Tight drum and bass rhythm section throughout, and Rod's vocal is just so chill. Being a Zombies fan and having loved their vocals, like Colin's voice, Rod's voice, they all take turns singing in that group. We're familiar with Rod's voice and what it can do, and just the power of a calm vocal is captivating. But it's moody, it follows its heart, the buildup is infectious. It's just a really well-constructed song, and it captivates your attention the entire time. Free Fall is up next, track 3 on side 2 here. I love a descending riff. You guys watch my videos, you know I love a descending riff. Rod again on lead vocals, and this feels like a Lost Zombies song. It's rocking, it's a little anxious, it's classic. Stepping Stone comes up next, some amazing call and response to the organ and the guitar, love that. Rubbery kind of song for me. And just enough changes to keep you interested the whole way through. The piano outro is beautiful. And the last song, Bring You Joy, piano ballad sees Russ soaring over this thing. It instantly makes me think, wow, what would Colin do? What would Colin Blunstone do with this song? An absolute classic and everything you'd want from a Zombies-ish band at that point. But this album really is kind of a surprise, and I feel like it's one that's slept on constantly because it doesn't have Hold Your Head Up or some of their other big hits. This wasn't a huge seller when it came out. It's a really impressive debut. Like I said, it sounds like the end of the Zombies and the start of something else, which makes sense because, you know, half of the zombies are on here. Jim counted as a zombie back in the very early days of the band, so, you know, technically half the zombies are on this thing. It rocks, it rolls, it's got soul, it's got character. It's definitely its own unique flavor that sets them apart from anything else at that time completely. But that's the Zombies in a nutshell. They never followed what anyone else is doing. They ran their own course, for better or for worse. And this album kind of feels in that same idiom. They tackle jazz, they tackle rock and roll, they take things slow and calm, but they can also rock and make things sound super dynamic at the same time. So a seriously talented group of guys that would go on to have a really established career throughout the 70s. But this is a great place to start. And I love the back of this album because Rod puts a little blurb on the back about how the Zombies were breaking up. Time of the Season came out as a single. They tried to get back together. It didn't work. And in that time, while all that was happening, Rod was forming a new group and Chris was helping with production. So, you know, they were always kind of together for a little while in those days. But for me, this is easily an 8 or a 9 out of 10. It is a fantastic record. If you're a fan of the Zombies, if you're a fan of that sort of 60s pop that's not necessarily rock, not necessarily pop, but just kind of in its own little world, maybe like some of the Baroque stuff like the Left Bank or bands like that. If you're into that kind of stuff, you're really going to dig this because it takes a fresh approach to what they were doing in the 60s and looking forward to the 70s and what that can bring. And this album screams optimism, it screams hunger and determination, which is what the Zombies had always sounded like anyway. They always forged their own path because they knew what they were doing is something they believed in. And that's what this album sounds like as well. 4 guys who share the same vision, who know what they're going for, and it just works the whole way through. So highly recommend. If you've never heard this album before, pick up a copy, spin it online, wherever you can find it. You're really going to dig it. So Argent's debut record right here, 8 or 9 out of 10, easily. Rod, if you're watching, buddy, thanks, man. My name is Giggens. This has been Argent's debut record, Argent, out on Epic Records, available now. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Take care of yourselves. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.